How can we discover the knowledge of God? Hi, I'm Mike Henry Sr. with Follower of One. Thanks for joining me again today on the Follower of One podcast. I'm grateful that you're listening. We're doing a series where we're reading one verse or one passage from each chapter of Proverbs for a few weeks. I don't know if I'll be able to get all the way through Proverbs doing this or not, but I would like to. Today we're on our second day, and so we're in Proverbs chapter 2. And our passage is the first 5 verses of the chapter. My son, if you will receive my words and treasure my commandments within you, make your ear attentive to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. For if you cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and discover the knowledge of God. Remember, we spoke in the previous episode about how the beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. And here we find out that we can understand the fear of the Lord and discover the knowledge of God. The author of Proverbs is reminding us that there are things that we can do that put us in a position to be able to understand the knowledge of God. And that's how our life works. Proverbs is a very practical book of wisdom about how to live, especially how to live as a Jesus follower for the rest of eternity. And in this passage, we actually see that we get triggered. We get to understand that we can understand the fear of the Lord and discover the knowledge of God by doing these actions in the first 4 verses of Proverbs chapter 2. Receiving the words, treasuring the commandments, being attentive to wisdom, inclining our heart to understanding. We have to point ourselves to listening to God. We have to actually direct ourselves to do what He says. We have this ability, we have this freedom to choose to listen to God, almost to tell ourselves or preach to ourselves, hey, listen to the Lord. Listen to what God says. Let's do what God wants us to do here, because then we will find the knowledge and the discernment that we look for. We have so much to gain. We can do things now that help us understand Jesus better and know Him better. We can do things now that put us on mission with Jesus, that make our actions matter for eternity. We can enjoy Him now because He gives us joy as we do these things. It's not all work. It's not all effort. Our flesh tells us that it's effort. Our mind wants to trick us into believing that doing what Jesus wants us to do will be work, when in fact it's true joy. Our world is backwards, and the author of Proverbs here is reminding us that if we will be attentive to the Lord, then we will find His wisdom. We will understand the fear of the Lord, and we will discover the knowledge of God. Today I want to challenge you. Where do you need to preach to yourself a little bit? Let's take a moment before the next interaction that we have with another person and preach to ourselves a little bit about how we want to be. Let's be the people that Jesus would have us be. Then we will learn and we will understand and we will have God's insight, and it will give us wisdom in the ways that we interact with the people that we come across at work. We have this opportunity to be a blessing to the people that we work with. Let's turn our lives to listening to and trusting God so that we can be His instrument in every interaction that we have today. That's our opportunity as followers of Jesus Christ. We get to choose to follow Jesus with every action that we have, and we will find His wisdom when we do that. Thank you for being a marketplace minister. Thank you for considering how your faith can make a difference. Let's point ourselves to listening to God and then watch His wisdom invade our relationships and make a difference in the lives of the people that we see every day. Thanks very much.